Redo You, the podcast that teaches you tools and strategies so you can build the confidence to rediscover and reinvent yourself. With me, Emma Hull, your favorite life coach. Each week, I'll introduce a concept that you can implement right away so you can live your most authentic life. Let's get started. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Redo You podcast. This week, I'm going to talk to you about gratitude, and I'm going to share one of my most favorite gratitude practices. But before I do, let's talk a little bit about gratitude. I really do believe that having a gratitude practice is integral to living a full and happy life. When you practice gratitude on a regular basis, it helps you to see the possibilities, the positive, the glimmers in the day. And when you're in that positive energy, you attract more positivity. And so your general experience is going to be better. When you're in a negative mood, you notice negative things and then you end up feeling negative. It is a simple fact. So you get to choose your attitude, you get to choose your mindset, you get to choose what you notice. And by having a regular gratitude practice, that helps you to choose gratitude, joy, love, delight, and all those wonderful things. So the practice I'm going to share with you is one that I love to do every morning and every evening. I encourage you to do it once a day at least. Figure out for you what works best for you, morning or evening. Or perhaps the middle of the day. Who am I to judge? Choose a time that works for you and commit to doing it. So the practice is called the Rose, Thorn, and Bud. And I love this one because it's so very simple. You reflect on your day and think about your rose, which is a highlight. What is a moment of your day that stood out for you, that brought you joy, that you particularly enjoyed? Sometimes it can be hard to pick your rose, your highlight, because you've had such a wonderful day and there's so many extraordinary moments to choose from. That's great. And singling one out to focus on for your meditation doesn't in any way diminish the others. It's just allow that one celebration to be a representative for all the others and delight in the fact that you had so many to choose from. On other days, it's a fact, it happens to me, it's going to be tough to find that rose. You're going to maybe feel like you just had such a blah, flat, neutral day that nothing stood out. Or perhaps you had a really rough day and it's really hard to find the rose. You don't get a free pass. Keep digging, scratch around in the dirt and look until you find a little glimmer of light and choose that as your rose. And really, it can be anything. Your rose can be big or small. It could be, think about examples that I've had of roses. Some big ones would be things like when I sign a new client, that's always a highlight. Or if I've had a particularly wonderful experience, say going to the jazz festival in Caslow last weekend was a real highlight. Other times I struggle. And so it'll be things like cuddling Johnny in the morning before I got out of bed. Or maybe that I got to have a delicious cup of coffee. You can always find a highlight in your day. The next part of this exercise is the thorn. The thorn represents a challenge that you overcame. And there's always those throughout our days. Sometimes, though, your day flows smoothly and it's hard to find a challenge. And again, great, that's wonderful, celebrate that. But find one. It might be a small challenge, but there's always things that you overcame, even if it's your mindset, or maybe it's something like not getting angry when you were caught in traffic, or when the grocery store didn't have the chicken and you had to suddenly rethink what you were cooking for dinner. Sometimes our thorn can be much larger than that. Maybe the highways got closed because of a wildfire and you had to cancel your vacation and you had to make all kinds of different arrangements and reframe and realign your day. Maybe you got injured and you had to find your way through that. There's always going to be a challenge that you overcame. So find your thorn, and your thorn helps you to see how resilient you are, how strong and how capable you are. So it's a really beautiful one. And then next is your bud. And your bud is something that you are looking forward to tomorrow. And I'm going to share a tip from one of my coaching clients, Marlon. He said when he can't think of a bud, he makes one. So if you can't think of something you're looking forward to tomorrow, create something you're looking forward to. Plan to phone a friend, plan to go for a walk, plan to go to your favorite coffee shop. So find something that you are looking forward to, or create something to look forward to. Now each day, do your rose, your thorn, your bud. You can either do it in your mind or you can write it out in your journal. Another one of my clients sits around the dinner table with the family and everyone shares their rose, thorn and bud. Find a way to incorporate it in your life and notice how it really shifts you to focusing on the positive and how capable and resilient you are. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Redo You podcast. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review, and tell a friend, because together we rise even higher. See you next Friday.